Hi everybody, my name is Isabel May. I am a faculty member in the Science Communication program that is part of the Master of Health Science degree program at the University of Maryland, Baltimore. I also am the director of the UMB Writing Center, and some of you might remember me from your first summer class, MHS 600, Introduction to Library Research and Academic Writing, or Scholarly Writing, I think it's called. Don't remember the name. Anyways, welcome back and to UMB, and I know you've progressed in your coursework, so welcome back to those of you whom I've worked with before, and welcome to everybody else. In this short video, I do want to just review a few things about how to construct your thesis statement for your literature review you're writing in MHS 608. The thesis statement is the real heartbeat of your paper. It provides your readers with an overview of what the rest of your paper will present. Now, if you think back to MHS 600, where Emily and I had you write an argumentative paper based on a few selected sources, that was a little different than a literature review, and I'll show you a few slides and some examples to demonstrate that. But just before I get started, again, I want to reiterate that the essay that you're writing in 600 was an argumentative essay, and hence presenting an argumentative thesis statement. This means a thesis statement that presents an argument, almost an opinion, rather than just presenting literature for a particular topic that you've worked on. And there's a process to developing a thesis statement in a literature review as well, by coming up with a research question, reviewing the literature, and so on, which you will experience in this class as well. So let me get started with some of the slides I've prepared for us today. So I've copied this little paragraph from a wonderful handout on literature reviews from the University of North Carolina Writing Center. It's a great handout. I recommend you guys to check it out. They have some other really good handouts too. Just bear in mind that their handouts are often written for writers within the social science and humanities more so than the sciences. So you have to be a little bit, you have to read some of the suggestions and the feedback carefully. That's why I only selected a few paragraphs. So this one here is just describing the basic difference between the literature from a regular academic research paper, which will make an argument, right? Which will present some new evidence on something. And that's really the core of the difference. So let me read this out here for you. The main focus of an academic research paper is to develop a new argument, and a research paper will contain a literature review as one of its parts. In a research paper, you use the literature as a foundation and as support for a new insight that you contribute. The focus of a literature review, however, is to summarize and synthesize the arguments and ideas of others without adding new contributions. So the takeaway here is you summarize and synthesize. You do not develop a new argument in a literature review. So you're staying, one could say, fairly neutral in your thesis statement, the way you present it in your paper. So to get technical, this type of thesis statement, people in writing fields and writing pedagogy often refer to as an expository thesis statement. Now that's a mouthful. Again, I'm going to say this again, an expository thesis statement, which really in plain English means it's a statement at the beginning of your paper, ideally at the end of that first introductory paragraph. And this statement exposes, hence expository, so it exposes or announces, another good synonym. So this thesis statement exposes or announces the subject of your paper to your readers. Let's look at some examples. So here, for example, again, going back to the worksheet from the Writing Center at the University of North Carolina, UNC, construct a working thesis statement early as you start drafting your paper. Don't wait to the last minute. You will probably refine it as you start writing the rest of your paper, but start off with the working thesis statement. And so here are some examples for what we would call an expository thesis statement. And if you look at the little writing ahead of time, it's, yes, there are thesis statements in literature reviews. However, they will not necessarily argue for a position or an opinion. Rather, it will argue for a particular perspective on the material. So first example, The current trend in treatment for congestive heart failure combines surgery and medicine. So as your reader, I'll be expecting you to review the literature on current treatments for congestive heart failure that combine surgery and medicine, just like it says. It's pretty straightforward. The other example, more and more cultural studies scholars are accepting popular media as a subject worthy of academic consideration. There's no argument, no pro, con in there. It's just exposing, announcing a particular point of view, not even a point of view, a particular topic. So the takeaway here is that a thesis statement presents a particular, in a literature review, presents a particular perspective on your topic. It does not, and I say that again, it does not argue for a position of an opinion. Sorry, there should be or, not off. So it does not argue for a position or an opinion. So again, to reiterate, expository thesis statements do not present an argument different than what you've done in MHS 600, and different thesis statements that you will write in academic research papers where you will present an argument, a particular insight, a particular quote-unquote opinion on a particular subject, of course based on research you've done and evidence. Here it's really about giving an overview of all the different aspects that go into a different topic, be it congestive heart failure combining surgery and medicine, or cultural studies scholars accepting popular media as a subject worthy of academic consideration. So let me show you our last slide. I've taken that first example from the UNC Writing Center's handout, and then I created took the expository thesis statement, then I created a more argumentative thesis statement. So again, the first example here, the current trend in treatment for congestive heart failure combined surgery and medicine, again, presents a perspective on the topic of treating congestive heart failure. That's it. If you look at the second one, that's presenting a position or an opinion, an argument. So let me read that to you. Research shows that nutritional changes in patients diagnosed with congestive heart failure yield the most successful results in treating this disease. Right? So here I'm making an argument that based on the research I've reviewed, or we've reviewed if you're writing with other people's, but on the research that has been reviewed for this literature review, the most successful results come from from treating congestive heart failure, come from nutritional changes. And that is your interpretation based on the data. That is your argument, your opinion that you're offering to your readers. So it argues for position or opinion. So that is the big difference between what we call an expository thesis statement, which you will need to write for your literature review, compared to an argumentative one, where you present an argument or an opinion, something that is more selective than what you present in an expository statement. So it seems like it's a little easier to do, but you have to be really careful about the way you phrase things and you present things. Otherwise, you'll end up with not acknowledging part of important research that needs to be covered in your literature review. So think of a literature review as an overview of the important work that has investigated the particular topic of your choice. In this case, congestive heart failure, combining surgery and medicine. Or, my second example, if you were to write an expository thesis statement about congestive heart failure and nutritional changes in patients diagnosed with this disease, you would have to phrase it very differently. Rather than focusing on what the most successful treatment and so on is. So I hope this was helpful to you. Any questions, please contact my colleague, James Wright at the Writing Center. His email is james.wright, and Wright is spelled W-R. Actually, I'm going to write this down here on the screen. Somehow my last slide didn't make it here. His email is James. Sorry about this here. James Wright, W-R-G-H-T at umaryland.edu, and I write down his name here, James Wright. You can contact him with any questions about this, or if you want to run something by him, it's like, hey, is this an accurate expository thesis statement? He'll give you some feedback, or make an appointment with one of our writing consultants in the Writing Center. And our website is, I'm going to put this up here, it's umaryland, it's pretty easy, .edu/writing. Surprise. All right, guys? So I hope you have a good class and good luck with your literature reviews. I know you're going to do a great job. And again, contact us with any questions. Thanks.